Welcome back to the Sustainable Aviation Futures Finance Insight as part of Sustainable Aviation Futures content pieces. Today, I'm joined by Oliver Phillips, the Regional Head of Sustainable Finance at Barclays. Welcome, Oliver.
Thank you, Harry.
So, Oliver, what financial instruments exist to move projects from conception to execution when it comes to sustainable aviation?
So, I think there are lots of financial instruments that we have out there at our disposal. It's really how do you use those in the right way and in the right order. So, one of the things at Barclays that we're really focused on how we create is a green escalator, a climate tech escalator, if you like. Essentially, how do you take something from idea all the way up to IPO and make sure you're supporting companies on their life cycle throughout that? We've just announced the formation of a new energy transition group, which brings together effectively our traditional energy expertise and our new energy expertise within the investment bank. And that's really going to help us to do more of that, and particularly as we really get to those sort of that last stage and make sure we're bringing those projects to execution.
Fantastic, and certainly look forward to hearing more about the escalator. When it comes to financing of SAF projects, what is the importance of financial institutions in scaling this sustainable aviation fuel?
I think for financial institutions, what really we can bring is our ability to support that whole ecosystem and effectively to be around the entire value chain of a project. And when I'm thinking about some of the real value we can bring, it's how do we engage with clients that are both on that production side and on the demand side, and where possible actually look to sort of bring them together and make those connections and introductions to get projects over the line.
Fantastic. And with regards to financial institutions as a whole, what role will they continue to have to play in transitioning to renewable fuels in general?
So, Barclays, we have set our goal that by 2050 we'll be net zero from our financing. We've said that by 2030 we're going to provide $1 trillion of sustainable and transition finance. I think a lot of other financial institutions around the world, in this region, are also setting similar targets. As we as banks and other financial institutions set those targets, that's giving us that impetus to really support the transition of a whole range of sectors, including aviation and the sort of the fuel side to that industry.
And you mentioned $1 trillion by 2030 there. How will the aviation industry finance this decarbonisation for the sector?
So I think aviation always has one of the sort of the biggest challenges of a lot of sectors, which is that sort of constant question of how do you balance whatever you're trying to do with safety, and decarbonisation is no different. But there's definitely lots of tools out there, and I think for the aviation industry, that ability to raise transition finance is so important. Whether that's transition bonds or even Sukuk for this bit of the world, sustainability linked bonds, sustainability linked loans, as well as some of the different sort of market instruments that you might have that support some of the different transactions and flows that they have on that side of their financial needs.
Fantastic. And just to go back to the transition finance, what is the investment community as a whole looking for in programs similar to the IRA in North America? And do they go far enough to put capital into new technologies or solutions?
So the IRA is certainly very transformational. The US Department of Energy loans program, again, very, very powerful. In the UK, the SAF mandate and the price support mechanism that the government are consulting on and working on and have announced their targets of when they're going to have that in place, again, have the potential to be very, very powerful. All of these are great tools. The challenge is how do you get those projects over the line? For me, when I'm thinking about it, it's really how do you de-risk that early stage technology? What are the partnerships that you can bring in to do that? How do you combine all of these different players with some of these different programs and put them together so that you build towards executing those projects?
Yeah, absolutely. And lastly, from yourself, Oliver, what is the importance of banks, lenders, and the finance community as a whole to drive project development and SAF production moving forward?
I think for the finance community, we really need to think about how do we deliver that full spectrum of financing solutions, whether that's equity, whether that's debt, or whether that's trade finance, or whatever else it is that we have to offer. I mentioned before, our ability to be across that ecosystem, supporting the entire value chain, linking production and demand. I think for us as financial institutions and the broader financial community, what we really want is people to reach out to us, tell us what they're working on, what challenges they're facing, what opportunities they're looking to address, and see how we can help.
Fantastic. Oliver, thank you so much for your answers today and looking forward to Barclays' continued work in sustainable finance.
Thank you, Harry.